Let me read you this from the Dresdner Anzeiger of February the 14th, 1883. A heavy and altogether unexpected bereavement has befallen musicians of every race, country, and degree. We learn by telegraph from Venice that the greatest of contemporary composers, Richard Wagner, the second husband of Cosima Liszt, died there at 4 o'clock of yesterday afternoon. He occupied a loftier station than king or kaiser, pope or president. No monarch was ever more enthusiastically served than has been Richard Wagner. Infallibility, embodied in a Roman pontiff, has never been more implicitly believed in by the most orthodox Catholic than it has been in the person of the Bayreuth prophet. Put well, do you not think? Put well. It goes on, it goes on. Time and space fail us even to make passing reference to the literary labors with which his busiest years were in great part occupied. A free thinker in matters religious, a democrat in matters political, of a surpassingly combative temperament, Wagner could scarcely fail to involve himself in the revolutionary agitations of 1848 in Dresden, where he held some minor musical appointment. Minor? In the light of Wagner's future, perhaps. But Kapellmeister to King Friedrich August II of Saxony was a post. To those of us here in Dresden, a respected post. Irksome to have to visit the king in his castle at Pillnitz, a song in one's pocket, to have to make music in praise of one of those very princelings one's political soul cried out against. But that was the condition of Germany in the 19th century. Insignificant city-states. And it was a post.
Lottie-Chow.
Majesty?
Who is responsible for this noise?
Reisiger conducted the piece, and it was got together by Wagner. Your Majesty.
Wagner?
Wagner?
Very well composed, the piece. Who? Who? Very well conducted, the piece. Who? Who?
Reisiger.
I lay myself at your feet, Majesty. The piece does have within it some not inconsiderable...
Very well composed, Herr Wagner. Very well auslicht, Herr Reisiger. Oh, do you think so, Majesty? Do you think so? I did do my best. Then I do dash myself under your feet, dash myself twice.
It's different every time he relates it. We were not late. As if I'd allow him to be.
There sat I, paws up, tail wagging, waiting for a pat on the head from fond Lottie-Chow, begging to have gold put into my mouth rather than into the mouth and tooth of His Majesty. But what does it matter? It is the path of the liveried servant here in Saxony. In the event, I said thank you and gave my royal master the lot again. But so moved my army in its retreat, my grande armée of ill-disciplined musical invalids and veterans. So moved them, cajoled, nudged, shoved, willed them. The whole maneuver so steadily executed, thanks to my unexampled activity, that Reisiger never even knew we had left until von Lüttichau told him so. The last notes falling on an echoing dream on the royal ulcerated tooth and ear. Wasn't wasted, though. Later used it all in Tannhäuser.
There is something to being German. Altogether curious, you know. We can take a song like Among the Meadows and Woods and set it to music in such a manner that we all dissolve in tears. And yet, when we look about us and see instead of a united fatherland, a hodgepodge of 34 kingdoms and principalities, we are unmoved. Our eyes remain dry. Our hearts do not beat faster by one note. Why? Why? Are we little people with minuscule minds, mere servants, ruled by and subservient to our betters? I say to them, our rulers, I say, cast your titles and distinctions from you. We too, the common people, have ancestors. And though they had no titles, were not ushers of the shithouse, their deeds of daring, their vassalage, their sufferings are reeking in letters of blood. Their blood, our blood banner. Two camps have arisen in Europe. The cry from one is republic. The cry from the tents of the other is monarchy. Monarchy. What do you see? You see a blinded and corrupt tribe, the rulers of Hesse, Bavaria, Prussia.
I agree.
What then of our own king? I, his Kapellmeister, dare say this to him. Become a prince who heeds our advice. Banish the sniveling Junkers and their swooning dames. Consult instead the free folk, the German folk, those noblest of children, like unto gods, not servants in livery or slaves of whim, but elected and free, every man with a vote, our minds strengthened by understanding of our past, the myths and legends and religion of Germany. Let him, our king, let him say, I declare Saxony a free state. Let him rid himself of his sycophants. And if he will not, a word of warning. As Christ says, if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. Your fatherland is called Germany. Love it above all, and more through action than through words. Germany must have its place in the sun.
You're involving yourself in too much. You're writing too much. You're always writing something or other. You are exhausted, Wagner.
Indeed.
Rest. I shall.
Consider it an investment, huh? I am strapped for money. Look, see, you would have full rights to all my works published by Mesa, or at least published by me. I had to put the money up. So for some 3,000 thalers, you would become my publisher. Rienzi, Tannhäuser, the Flying Dutchman. Huh? Bound to repay you in future, Anton. Bound to. Accept this opportunity to buy out Mesa, that shag-bag Philistine, no more entitled to call himself a publisher than you would wish to call yourself a draw-fart. I mean, he never published so much as a waltz till I gave him his chance. He's asking for money before he will even consider sending Lohengrin off to the plate makers. Accept this opportunity, my gratitude for your love and support and enthusiasm. Some 3,000 thalers, together with what you already let me have, will give you an investment of some 9,000 thalers, in return for which you will have the rights to Tannhäuser.
I already have those rights. A surety for the 10,000. 10, Richard. Monies I've let you have already.
What is my condition?
I've given you a double hernia.
Thank you very much. Address it to the commander of the Communal Guard, so that I shall not be asked to heft a musket on the wrong side when the shot and shell starts bursting around our ears. If this revolution don't erupt soon, I shall be cast into the sponging house with common debtors. Would he limp, do you know? Double hernia in my gait. How would such a person stumble along? It isn't a great deal of money, is it, my friend?
Yes, Richard. I am a devoted friend and admirer of both you and Minna, but more monies will have to come from that which belongs to my wife. You've had all of mine.
But my circumstances are such that I am in straits, Anton. Straits.
I've read your husband's latest scheme for an opera, Frau Wagner. Lohengrin.
Yes, the poem of the Swan Knight.
Oh, how wonderful! A swan night. I can see all the little elves and fairies dancing before my eyes.
Unfortunately, we can't live it. These unsettled toys. Your husband writes to the newspapers, Frau Wagner, makes speeches he ought not to make. The king himself has had to prevent one of his officers from challenging your husband to a duel. Lohengrin. It is stirring and German and wonderful. If only Herr Wagner were not determined on setting it to music himself.
me, sir.
Why do you remove my Tannhäuser from your window, all the copies? Is my work not fit for your shop? What do you replace them with? What's this? Meyerbeer, dear God, Rurkel, we used to admire this man.
And so you should. Meyerbeer's a master. He sells copy on copy.
That's because you are not his publisher. You're an incompetent idiot.
Uh-huh. Am I, though? Am I? What are you, then? This returned from the Munich Court Theatre.
This is monstrous. They have not even broken the seal to read it.
Exactly. You ain't being given, Wagner. That you ain't. But Meyerbeer is, which is a fact. Hence he can go out where he might be bought. Rienzi. Outside Dresden, where? Performed once only in Berlin.
Yes, and?
And?
Königsberg.
Where?
It is successful every time it is given here in Dresden. So is Tannhäuser. So too will be Lohengrin. Damn you, Mesa. I'm of a mind to withdraw Lohengrin from you.
Then I would remind you that you're not entirely drawing the town. And I will not go forward with Lohengrin until you give me some money.
Then you will lose a revolutionary work, sir.
Are we not all revolutionaries these times?
No, we ain't, Herr Rudel. We are not. We ain't. You sport with known revolutionaries. You have ideas above your station as to unions for musicians and a total turnover of the Dresden Opera on its head, which you put forward in writing above the noble head of your director, direct to the king. Direct in writing. Which king you would have murdered in his bed. This time we live in is no time for grand opera. No time at all. And a word to the wise. Here we... Herr Director Lucic has intimated to me, as he ain't going to do Lohengrin, for your arrogance and your scorn of the established genius, such as Meyerbeer's genius. All of which gives me no faith in you, young man. Get rid of this anarchy and all. Then perhaps there'll be time for an opera. Or better still, an operetta.
There are going to be new theatres, new music. All who come between the German folk and their art will be swept away in the revolution coming.
Will they, though?
Barbarossa. I'm considering Barbarossa as a fit subject. Germany looks for another Barbarossa.
Barbarossa, like Lohengrin, is not a fit subject for an opera. Not at all. It ain't light enough. No laughs in it. And what's more, no person will wish to hear it, in that it involves that which people do not wish to hear.
Shall you not do duty with the Communal Guard?
I shall not. I have resigned.
Why?
I suffer from a double hernia.
Should you not go to Dr. Pusinelli?
It was Anton Pusinelli who recommended that I had a double hernia.
Why?
So that I need not do duty with the Communal Guard.
Why?
Who can tell which side they're going to fight on, for the revolution or against it?
I don't understand. Forgive me, Richard.
In Paris, it's about the starving rising up. In Hungary, it's about the oppressed shrugging off Austrian domination, but who in turn will be dominated by the Russian Tsar. In Saxony, here in Dresden, it is about being given a sop in the form of an assembly in Frankfurt, which purports to be an assembly of all Germany, but isn't. Which should have power, but hasn't any. We are still half in Austria and half under Prussia. And it's about the parliament, which our king now threatens to dissolve. There isn't a Germany yet. And until there is a Germany, or a German consciousness, I'm not going to have an audience. Damn it. People like me, people like Semper, Rurkel, Pusinelli, people with minds, free minds, doctors, lawyers, musicians, are always going to be subservient to the likes of Lutichau, to the court,
to a court theatre run by someone who was keeper of forests and trees to the king.
He and Frau Lüttichau have always been very kind to us.
Kindness? I don't want kindness. I want money and I want a theatre. I have plays, ideas for plays. They're good, well thought out ideas. What happens to them? My report on the state of the Royal Orchestra. What about that? 3 months to prepare. 3 months, not even read by the king. My ideas for a national theatre of Germany. What about that? Not taken seriously.
Well, if there isn't a Germany. Liszt is going to give Tannhäuser in Weimar?
Yes, Liszt.
Your devoted friend. He also knows how to...
How to what? Tug his very beautiful forelock to his royal masters.
Whenever you tug any part of him, he responds.
I know. The only one.
Oh, please, Richard.
Don't plead with me, Minna. This isn't a time for pleading. How can one talk to these Sabbath Christians? I'm a better Christian than any of them because I understand what it is to be a pagan. Lüttichau. So pure he extracts himself from stinking when he farts. Talk to him about an art that embraces everything, music, poetry, drama. I know what it is I'm brooding on. You know, I've told you. A grand, heroic, yes, for lack of a better word, opera. Yes. Siegfried's death, Fire, water, destruction, and out of the cleansing, a hero, a German hero. Christ, Barbarossa, Siegfried, the same person.
You know that nobody will be able to stage it.
Do I? You mock me for my seriousness. But if one's not serious about work, what then? There is a stage. It is out there. It is going to happen. You would have me a journeyman on call, as would the king and Lüttichau, paid to toss off a pretty little tune, an accompanying tremolo to whatever hack drama they see fit to put on. A pluck of strings, rumble of drum, to signify that depth of feeling which the words have been too shallow to express. That is my job as Kapellmeister.
That is not true.
You're afraid?
Yes, I am.
I was a journeyman once. Did everything when I first knew you. Magdeburg, the scenery, everything.
You emptied the hall of everyone but your most ardent creditors with your Battle of Victoria.
The triumph of noise. Scored for bugle, drum, and firecracker. Such a battle has seldom been more cruelly fought in any concert hall, and you, Minna, you didn't even stay.
I hate noise. Bangs. Oh, God. It has begun.
Come on, up here, more! Up here, yes! Much as you can, come on! Yes, very good. Come on, we haven't got much time, come on! More, yes! That's the way, yes, very good. Yes, come on. Plenty over here, come on! As high as you can! Come on! Yes! Very good. Yes, that's good. Come on, up here, on the top.
Uncle, what is it? Uncle, is it fighting?
Yes, it is. I'll tell you, Cloudy, you were present at the beginning. A revolution led by artists and men of means against privilege, intellect against indulgence. Get me some food together, Minna. I'll be gone for some time until it's all over. Revolution. Revolution at last.
After all these years, after years of struggle, at last, Kapellmeister to the King's Symphony. With You're in the most.
Open the door! Open the door! Open the door!
No, I shall not! I shall not at all, not at all! No! No, Richard!
Open this door, do you hear me?
Richard, they've come for you. They've come for you.
Richard, where is Richard? We've started it. The king daren't dissolve the parliament. Minna, where's Richard? When Richard comes, he's to go to the foundry. Remember, to the foundry.
A revolution, and I'm locked up by my own wife from it.
Richard,
I demand you open this door.
come understand. By whatever devious means your brain goes in circles, swirls. I can't keep up with the man's... He's so always in a turmoil. Schemes, ideas, not his business.
Out, let me out. Open the door, open the door.
It is his business to present music for the king. That's all and enough for anyone. Enough. Dresden is one of the foremost theaters in Germany. We are so lucky.
Open this door, do you hear me?
We have starved. When we first came to Dresden, we knocked walnuts from the trees to eat. I was so ashamed.
Open the door.
You have borrowed money from everyone, even from the members of your own orchestra who have little enough themselves. You rant about their conditions, their poverty, their ill health, and then you borrow from them.
Open the door!
The only friends you have left have nothing themselves. Anybody will do. Richard.
Bakunin, see here. Come look.
I see. You are facing your king's soldiers drawn up in ranks. Your own Saxon soldiers
Sever, see that this
against
holds.
you.
Bakunin, these. Calling on the soldiers not to fight us.
Ludicrous. Amateurs.
Soldiers of Saxony, lay down your arms. Come with me, Semper, Bakunin. We shall inform them of their real duty.
Simpletons.
Lay down your arms, fellow Saxons, fellow Germans. Join us, the people of Dresden, bearing arms to defend our liberties and yours. Our liberties and yours. We're all in the same boat. We have to defend ourselves against oppression. Whatever happens in this world, let us all be true Germans.
You waste words.
Herr Wagner, remember, if I am killed, you owe me money. 15 thalers to my wife.
Who are you?
I play the oboe. I am your
Pick up your
oboist.
instrument, boy. Pick it up.
The wrong people inspire this revolution. If you ask me, whole thing is doomed to failure.
working man must lead in the social struggle to come. Free men, artists, all of us, our struggle today must express the will of free people everywhere, regardless of national boundaries. Our nationalist socialism, must be only an ornament, not a limitation. Our work will either be to free the human spirit or else condemn it forever to chains of economic bondage.
Someone must show us. Show us what to do. Direct them.
Me, not me. Ask Bakunin. He's the professional revolutionary. I'm just a musician. You, Semper, you build excellent barricades. What do you suggest? You.
No. Bakunin may well decide to throw in his lot with this amateur revolution. I'm sure he'd say that it was doomed to failure. The wrong people are inspiring it. I mean, people like you and me. I think he's just using us to fan up the flames. Why don't we climb somewhere where we can see what's happening?
Ah, the Church of the Cross.
Good. You go. I'm an architect who has no head.
Up there, like Christ on a temple.
Oh, yes. When you write your Jesus Christ opera, the tenor must sing nothing but off with his head, and the soprano, hang him, and the basso continuo, it's Bakunin. Fire is the only way. The only way is to destroy everything. Rubbish.
Yes, perhaps you're right.
Up with his head, hang him. Fire. Up with his head, hang him. Fire. Up with his head, hang him. Fire.
Set fire to your opera house.
No, of course I didn't. But I should have done years ago. Such places should be burned down, set light to. One can't do anything with such places, Temper. Places are built for Italians in the court. Tiny houses for tiny music. Little mice squeaking in tune. This is theater. We need theaters that are this, amphitheaters of fire, buildings that might encompass this, contain this. This is theater. I scribble notes, what I see, for days, in the hope it may be useful, may help them aim their shots. The lark up there soars to a dizzy height. Larks and heroes. Oh, how long will this all go on?
Weeks now. The bullet that can lay me out has not been cast.
Do you see them?
What?
The bloody Prussians! Thousands of them! Pouring in! You run and report that you see the Prussians have arrived. Don't look at me, boy. Go, get reinforcements. Out.
Herr Wagner, we have met.
Go back to your Prussian master, sir.
Take note that I come at the request of your king to restore peace and order. Written post to get here. You may go back to your rum-tiddy-dumming bandmaster.
Damn me. Had I a musket, I'd drum you, sir. Go back to your royal Prussian master. See if he wants his boots given a polish.
Thought highly enough of my king when you were touting his songs in Berlin. Tell me if I disremember. Didn't you offer to write him a march?
I accept royal patronage no more. True patronage will come from the people of a united Germany.
Under Prussia, sir.
Under no man, sir, unless we elect him.
Because of my high regard for you as a composer of Rienzi, I shall not cut you down where you stand. I don't fight musicians. Prepare yourselves!
What did the Prussians say?
You'd seen Rienzi. Must have liked it.
sinking ship, huh? You failed. You failed. I don't doubt you'll get more out of it than I did.
It was as well that Wagner left Dresden when he did. Another day or so, and he would have been clapped in prison. Röckel was confined for over 13 years. As it was, a warrant was quickly taken up for Wagner's arrest and returned to the scene of his activities on the barricades, there to be brought to trial, to face the music, as it were, to face the music no longer as royal Kapellmeister with an orchestra at his bidding, but as a proscribed criminal, a fugitive from justice. For 2 months he stayed out of the clutches of the authorities until he was at last forced to flee Germany entirely. Entirely. He crossed into Switzerland from Bavaria at Lindau on the Bodensee in disguise. False papers. Alone. But, as he wrote to a friend, from these ruins I shall find most whom I need. Then I shall erect a theater on the banks of the Rhine and scatter invitations throughout Europe to a great dramatic festival. He did say that. Then,
which one is yours? Are you Herr
as a man on the run, as it were.
Professor Wittmann or Herr Itzenpliet?
Wittmann.
He was not to return to Germany, any part of it. Not Saxony, not Dresden, not Bavaria. No state would have him home for over a decade. He was not to build his theater and scatter invitations for 27 years.